Yo, what up guys, Travic here. Today I want to talk about Blight. More specifically, I want to talk about Titanic Blight done inside of maps. Now you know me and I love my Blight encounters and I love doing Blight, and today this is going to be no exception. Today we're going to be focusing on Titanic Blight, and if you've not heard of Titanic Blight is the art of using two Scarabs, a regular Titanic Scarab and a Titanic Scarab of treasures to juice your Blight encounter inside of your map to the moon. One of these will increase the toughness, damage, rarity, and quantity based on pack size, and the other one will give the unique monsters, aka the Blight bosses, more rewards or additional rewards while making them tougher. Now, I'm always looking for something cool and interesting and fun to try, and this strategy was brought to me by my buddy Lang. So my buddy Lang goes, hey man, I've been doing this awesome Blight strategy. It's a lot of fun. You should really try it. He makes this whole video about it to try to get the word out about Blight. And he sent it to me and I watched his video. His video was absolutely fantastic. He has been providing great information about the game. And I suggest that you guys click the thumbs up button on his video, hit the subscribe, and leave a like if you like the video. Now, Lang goes into all kinds of detail. He runs the maps, he talks about it, and I watched the video and I was like, oh, this is actually insane. So we put it together and we're gonna try it. Now, I love Blight. I'm gonna say this 100,000 million billion trillion times in this video. It is my favorite type of content to do. I really get a kick out of it, and I just happen to be playing a really good build to take advantage of it. I am playing an Eviscerate Ignite build, and Ignite is one of the coolest things that you could be doing because it just takes care of Blight like very easily. Anything that proliferates, ignites, explodes makes Blight super easy, and having access to things like ignited and shock enemies explode makes Blight an absolute cakewalk. Now, before we jump into the map, let's talk about what we're doing, how it's working, and what's pretty much going on. Being the lazy guy that I am, I haven't finished all my Atlas points yet, but I'm going to give you an Atlas down below. It's going to have a more refined pathing. So the Atlas down below in the description is going to be more accurate and more refined than what I'm doing right now, but let's talk about the core concepts. First and foremost, we're going to make sure that we have Blight on the map at all times. I don't want to use a Blight Scarab. I don't want to use Blight on the map device. I want to keep my cost down to an absolute minimum. And we're going to take all of the nodes that give us more Blight Scarabs and Blight encounters on the map. On top of that, because we're going to be doing really juicy maps, we want to make sure that we get the most amount of loot out of our maps, and we're going to be taking Salvaging Towers. Now, if you don't know what Salvaging Towers are, it's when you run the Blight encounter and you make your Blight, your towers inside of your Blight. At the end of the Blight encounter, in regular maps only, you can deconstruct those towers and they'll give you a whole lot of loot and a whole lot of gold. And, there's a very unique, interesting way to do Salvaging Towers, and we'll talk about that in the map because it'll make more sense. But essentially, you want to build a bunch of different towers, and you'll see how I handle it inside the map. On top of that, we're going to take immune response. We want more non-unique enemies, so more enemies to kill, and they spawn faster. Every enemy that we kill inside of the Blight encounter will be in the pump explosion at the end. So more monsters, more loot, bigger explosion, more rewards. And we kind of want to aim for as much as we can get. Over here, we're going to be taking the variety of chests that are lucky. There's only going to be one chest in this strategy, and we're going to make it lucky. Fingers crossed we get some good stuff, and we're going to have a 20% chance to open that chest again, which leads to some really, really, really crazy things that can happen. Excuse me. Moving on over, we have Blight spawn, so that one of our lanes is always going to be boss lanes, and there is a trick to this to tell which lane it's going to be, and I'll showcase that in the map. And then we're going to have sturdy construction that gives the Blight monsters, they take more damage. Now, we're not going to be taking Cassius Pride for this because this is a very hard mechanic. You need a character that is strong, and we're going to attempt to just blow it up. From there, we're going to be taking all the quant and rarity that we can. We're going to be taking some extra Scarab nodes because we're going to be killing a whole bunch of monsters. We want to make sure that our rare monsters and our unique monsters have more % chance to drop Scarabs, and we're going to see a whole lot of Scarabs while doing this farm. We're also going to be juicing our maps to the moon, so we're going to want as many extra monsters stuffed into our map, and we're going to want as many map modifiers as we can get, and you can see that we take the map modifier effect nodes all over the map. Because we're doing this and because we're juicing our maps, and we're going to be running 8 modded maps, and I'll show you how to search for the map shortly, we're going to want to make sure that we also have the ability to find memory influence maps. We're going to want to make sure that our maps tier up so that we can find tier 17 maps. And then for a little bit of extra bonus, as you get points and you fill out your Atlas, you could put the remainder of your points inside of Verisium ore and Calgar. Now, I don't have all the points in yet. Like I said, I'm working on it. I'm still missing the wheel here and I'm missing the wheel here. I could take some points out of just map tier up nodes and put them in there and get it all worked out, but I'll get there and I'll give you, like I said, a more refined atlas down below. But Calgar is just going to be something extra on your map. You're going to open your map, you're going to do your breach, you're going to do your blight encounter. If you find, you know, Starfall Crater, you're thrilled, and you're just giving yourself more looks at more things on the map to just kind of give you more things. If you don't want to do the settlers, you could take it out and put those points wherever you want. Some people put them into more scarabs. Some people then put them into more, you know, tier up chance for maps. Some people put them in the connected map modifiers. You can even put them into altars if you want to do altars. I wasn't really worrying about altars, but you know, the world is your oyster. Honestly, you probably better off just putting them into altars. Now, ideally, what we're going to do is we're going to be running, like I said, an 8 modded map. We're going to go into the map. If you want to kill the map boss, you kill the map boss. After you kill the map boss, you click all the altars. You do all the altars. You do the breach if you want to do the breach, and then you go to the blight. Now, because we're running 8 mod maps, we have to be able to search for 8 mod maps, and, you know, searching on, you know, nobody wants to go do outside resources. I want to do everything in the game. So we're going to pull up the trade website and we're going to do our searches very, very, very simple. We're going to put in Dunes map. We're going to scroll down to the bottom. We're going to make sure that we select, there's a map level somewhere. We're going to do map tier 16. We want as big as pack size as possible. So I was putting 40% pack size, but you could do whatever you want. You can even take this off, and you're going to do modifiers up here, and you're going to put 8. As soon as you put 8, you're going to search, and all you're going to find from here on out is 8 modded maps. Now, the real trick with 8 modded maps is you're going to have to filter out mods that don't do you very well. And I did that for me. I ended up, you know, I cannot be stunned. This is very important. I would make sure this is on all of your maps forever. Like this mod will brick you. Like, you absolutely should put this on every map that you run. This is the worst. This is the worst mod that ever existed when running Blight. So for the love of God, make sure you have this on. If you comment down below and you tell me none of the mobs got stunned, that I know what I was doing, I'm gonna say, did you watch the video about the section of the map with a thing and a stun? And then you're gonna say no, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, bro, go watch the video. But anyways, make sure that you put all the modifiers that you don't want on your map. Click travel to hideout. It's very simple, very quick, very easy. Go travel all around, buy all of your maps. Very simple, very easy. You can even make a regex and go into other people's hideouts and put your regex in and just kind of do your thing. Now, once you've obtained your 8 modded map, based on what you can do, we're going to come over to the map device. We're going to put the map in, and we're going to make sure that we have the following Scarabs: 3 Titanic Scarabs of treasure, 1 regular Titanic Scarab, 1 Blight Scarab of the Blightheart, which is going to give us 1 big chest at the end that's going to explode for a whole lot of good stuff. And then we're just going to run the map and see what happens. Pick the types of altars that you want, either red or blue, and then run your map. We're not doing anything else on the map device. We just want basic quant. Now, when you run these maps are going to be hard, and we're going to take a little bit of time to get the best edge that we can. So make sure you do the following. You're going to want to anoint your rings. I have always been a fan of Meteor Tower's burn, but that's for blighted maps. I was recently told about Meteor Tower Stun, which I think is this. No, I'll get you guys the right combination of oils. I'll look it up for you guys. That's Burning Ground. I don't remember the combination off the top of my head, but there is Meteor Tower's Always Stun, and this is a really good one. To essentially anoint your anoint your rings, throw them into your Blight tab, and then you put 2 oils in the correct order, and it'll give you what you're looking for. I will look up for you guys the combination for the Meteor Tower's burn. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure Lang told it to me at some point somewhere, or is in his video, but I'll leave it down below in the description. So 1 ring is going to be Meteor Tower's burn, and the other ring is going to be Chilling Tower's freeze for 2 seconds. This one's Silver Opalescent. That one I know off the top of my head. Anoint your 2 rings, go into your map, and have a really good time. Now I'm going to show you some cool tricks while you're doing your map, and hopefully it helps. Now, you can run the Wildwood to save time. I'm not going to run the Wildwood here. To save time, I'm not going to do the breach encounter, because you guys already know how to run a Wildwood and how to run a breach encounter. For the sake of everything, we're going to go to Cassia. Now, when we open up our Blight encounter, 2 things are going to happen. We're either going to be doing a really closed in map, or we're going to be doing a very big open wide map like Dunes. For this strategy, I really like wide open maps because it gives you a lot of towers to deconstruct. It gives you a lot of lanes for more loot, and it's just, you know, it's a little bit more interesting. You can do indoor maps. You're going to get possibly less towers, possibly less lanes, and possibly less loot. But so I really like these wide open maps. Now, when you do these wide open maps, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to have a nice set of lanes like this, where you can see the lanes are very uniform and they're very easy to understand, or you're going to have your lanes spider out. When they spider out, it's a little bit more difficult. It's okay. You might lose a map or two, but the cost of entry is very, very, very cheap. I know I didn't do the cost of entry and I didn't talk about it earlier in the video, but the Scarabs at the time of recording, we can actually like hop out and go take a look really quick. The Scarabs for these maps are very, 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 very cheap. Like if I just come over to Faustus and I just search Titanic and I grab regular Titanic Scarabs, these are 2 to a chaos. And then if I do this one's, you could probably buy them at 4 to a chaos. If you just put a buy order in, or 3 to a chaos and just let it sit. And then your Blightheart is like 3 to a chaos as well. So your map cost is like 7C. So if you fail a map, who cares? Go next. Like not a big deal because it only costs you 4C to buy the map. Now, when you go to do the map and you start the encounter, you're going to notice a couple of things. There's going to be images inside these little circles. These are what the lanes are immune to. You can also see what the lanes are immune to above the lanes here. By the way, really cool trick. If you press the / button next to your shift key, you can bring up the marketplace and pause your entire Blight encounter. You can also build towers while this is paused. So these lanes are going to start spawning and you're going to see mobs are going to start spawning out of these lanes. Because these lanes here are immune to stun towers, we're going to want to make sure that we can freeze them. We're going to want to make sure that we deal some damage to them. And then we're just going to build towers to deal with the lanes. This is our boss lane where all the bosses are going to come out of. And that lane's not active yet because it is grayed out and these are yellow. So the yellow ones are the ones that are active right now. Now, usually this one right here will always be the boss lane, even if it doesn't have the boss symbol on it. It's usually the second to last one. And that one is spawning up right here right now. So it's probably going, if I had to guess, this will be the major boss lane. Because it's got the symbol over its head to match. So we're going to prep accordingly. The best way to handle boss lanes is to build inside of a chokehold or build these 3 towers uniformly next to each other. You want to build a seismic tower and you want to scale it up. You're going to want to make an empowering tower and scale it up. And you're going to want to make a freezing tower and scale it up. Oh, see? It was this lane. This lane ended up being the bosses. So it's usually one of the 2 last lanes. So that works out great. So we build our triple tower scenario. All of the bosses are stuck. And then we get to do what we do best, is use our ignites to ignite the enemies. They're going to burn. And then while they're burning, they'll just spread their ignites. Their ignites will hit everything and everything will be comfy and cozy. If you do it right and you build your towers right, you'll notice that, well, you'll just die. That happens. That happens. That mob's, Molten Shell decided to end their life. And if you're smart, you'll put a tower, you'll put a portal. But if you do it right and if you build your towers right, you'll see that all of your bosses are frozen and you really don't have a whole lot to worry about. And because we can pause, we can really spend some time readjusting what we're doing. Now, this guy right here, Orloth Slug Crusher, this is the infamous goat. This little guy right here with the horns, there's nothing you can do. This guy is just going to not care about anything at all. He's going to leap right past you. You're going to want to try to stun him. The only thing I've seen that works kind of well is putting inside of a glacial tower. This is the guy, this is the reason why you need DPS. You need to be able to kill this guy, because if you don't, he's just going to ignore you and he's going to run past you. And, he's just going to go with the pump. There's nothing you can do about it. And this is what I was mentioning earlier. Sometimes with these mobs, there's just nothing that you can do about it. And they're just going to ignore everything that you got going on. Now, you'll have noticed a couple of times here, because of my ignites and because of my spread, all of the other lanes are not really an issue at all. And once all the bosses are locked down, I could just sit here and build to my heart's content. And then you can see they're all burning. They'll explode, they'll kill each other, they'll burn, they'll explode, they'll start to kill each other, they'll burn, they'll explode. And this is just absolutely perfect. Now, we're going to do the following. Because we're building salvaging towers, we want to make sure that we have a wide variety of different towers. So ideally what we would like to do is we'd have to 2 of each type of tower. So we have the 2 different sentinel towers. We have the arc tower right there. We're going to build the other tower, or the other type of arc tower here, which is the lightning storm tower. We have the glacial tower above. We're going to want to build the freeze bolt tower here. We have the chilling tower, the stun tower, the empowering tower, the meteor tower up there, which is really nice. And then that's all of the towers that we can build on this map. We're going to clear everything and we're going to take a look at the loot. Now, I know I'm yapping. These maps go a lot faster when you're not yapping. These maps also go a lot faster if you're not playing Eviscerate, because Eviscerate you have to get hit or you have to do the really cool weapon swap tech to really get the damage going. But the damage is actually really nice, and Elementalist is just an absolute cheat code. Now, you know that the event's almost over when you start seeing lanes shut off. As soon as they go gray, lanes are starting to shut off. And then we just go in and then we just finish off the mobs. We get them nice and ready to go. And as the mobs are about to die and you're at the last possible mob, so while this guy's right here, he's almost dead, he's almost dead, he's almost dead. We're gonna get him real close to dying. Really close to dying. And right when he's about to die, we're gonna upgrade our towers to the other types of towers that we didn't have. He's gonna die, and then we're gonna get a whole lot of loot that's gonna spawn out of the thing. Now, I'm still picking up Jewelers and Fusings. You're probably not, but you're going to get all kinds of fossils. You're going to get stacked decks. You're going to get Scarabs, and you're going to get a whole bunch of different things that are just going to add up over time. And, you know, if you can kill faster than me, you'll get these maps done. You'll find synthesis items like this, which is a nice int belt. You'll get extra maps. You'll get chisels. And then this big thing right here, you're really looking for currency, oil. You're looking for jewel or gems. You're looking for harbinger fragments. There's a lot of really good hits that you can get. And then these are your salvaging towers that you're going to see are really going to be dropping a lot of uniques. You can hear the uniques. They're going to be dropping an absolute ton of gold. You're going to get maps. You're going to get ultimatum scarabs. You know, just a whole lot of stuff. Now, for the guy who's sitting there screaming, "That's not a lot of loot. I could be doing anything else. Blah, 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 blah." I get it. This is just something that I like. It's really good. It adds up really quick. And if you don't yap like I do, and you can go map to map to map to map for the cost of entry to do a map, if you can clear it, it's really fast and really, you know, really quick and really nice. And sometimes you get really big hits. I did this farm for 5 days, and I was able to get my Mageblood, and I wasn't playing like 10-hour days. You know, I was streaming for a couple of hours. I was yapping. I was talking to people, and I was able to get my Mageblood in a couple days, and it worked out really well. Fun little fact, these scouting reports sell really, really, really well, and you should really keep an eye on them because they're very expensive. Look, just a 1 div belt, casual. Really nice. There's Slothless Coil, there was a time. We'll put this here, we'll deal with it later and sell it. Now let's do the exact same thing again. Let's grab another map, let's open our map, let's go do the Blight encounter, take a look at what loot looks like again, and we'll send you on your way to go and Blight. So we go in, there's another Wildwood. Of course, the one time when I'm like doing other things, Wildwood decides it's gonna show up. And then we're gonna go straight to the Blight. Now, in theory, you'll get more loot if you do the altars and you run around the map and you clear the map. But like I said, for time's sake, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna start the event. She's gonna set up our lanes. We're gonna take a look at our lanes. This one is going to be the boss lane, or this one is going to be the boss lane. We're gonna start the encounter, and it's gonna start all the way over here, which we know. And these mobs are immune to the scout tower. So we're just going to build a nice lightning tower here to just start killing mobs and generating us some of the currency to build towers. Now this lane is going to be next. That's going to be coming out. So this is going to be lane 3 right here, which is going to start up momentarily. So we're going to want to make sure that we keep an eye on this. This is going to be lane 4, which is going to be right here, which I suspect is going to be our boss lane. If not, it's going to be this one right next to it. So the mobs, there it is. There's our bosses. So now we're just going to pause really quick. We're going to make sure that we build what we need so that the bosses don't accidentally slide by us. And we're going to cover all of our bases down here as well. We're going to do this so that we make sure we have a way to kill these mobs because we don't want them leaking past us. We're going to come up here. We're going to make sure that we kill the bosses. Now, something very, very, very important to note with this game. If too many mobs spawn, the towers will not keep them frozen. So you have to make sure that at some points you're doing some sort of damage and killing these bosses, because if too many bosses come out and they start stacking on top of each other, they'll just they'll overpower the towers. So you're just going to have to eventually kill them. Otherwise, you're going to be running into a whole world of trouble. Now, as soon as one boss dies, you're going to have more building materials than you know what to do with, and it's pretty simple. You're just going to do like we did earlier. I know this tower is immune, but because of salvaging towers, I'm going to want to build a whole variety of different kinds of towers, and I want to make sure that I have everything that I need so I don't have to worry about all of that later. We get these towers built up nice, quick, and easy. We come over here. I know I need a second one of these. We need a flamethrower tower. We're going to build that. We've built both other types of the freeze and chill towers. And now, just like I mentioned earlier, there's this guy. He just doesn't care. You know, we want to make sure that he gets stunned, and this is why we make sure that we roll cannot be stunned, or that we don't have the cannot be stunned for our maps, because we want to make sure that he gets stunned. And then we kill all the mobs. We make sure nothing's down here is leaking. We build one more empowering tower. We're going to make it so that the enemies are weak within the range. And this is it. This is everything we need. Bada boom, bada bing, easy peasy. All of our mobs are dying. Our lanes are completely covered. There's nothing to worry about at all. Very simple, very easy. Now, like I had mentioned, it's a little bit easier for this build because I am playing an ignite build and all of my damage does chain and proliferate and do all that fun stuff. So if you're not playing a build that proliferates or ignites, you want to make sure that you have some hard hitting build to be able to do the content, as they are a little bit more on the difficult side. Now, before I loot all this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill these mobs right here, and I'm going to show you guys something really cool about this strat. I'm going to go back to my hideout. I'm going to come over here to Mr. Johan, and I'm going to dump all of my gold. So we put all of our gold. I have 12 days worth of stuff. So right now we have, I know it's a big question, we have 0 gold. So we're going to come down to the pump here. We're gonna grab all of the stuff off of the pump. We have nice stacked decks. We have a bunch of essences, which we'll keep and we'll sell. And then we're just gonna pick up everything else that we can get. Now, a lot of this stuff is still selling pretty well. You can get chaos very easily for a lot of this stuff. And with chaos, or with divines being like 100 C, it's quite nice. Now, just the pump alone net us 35,000 gold. So that's pretty good. So now we're gonna open up the rest of the salvaging towers. We're going to let them do their thing, and then we're going to take a look at what our gold looks like afterwards. So we'll grab all of this. Remember, we were at roughly 35,000, and then we're going to come over here. We get nice little random things to disenchant for dust, which I'm going to, you know, which I do a lot of. We're going to pick up all the other little currencies, and we're going to take a look. We got another 22,000 gold. So one map, about 4 minutes, nets you about 57,000 gold. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I've done maps that have been around 40,000. I've done maps that have been around 50, 60,000. If I had done my altars, I would probably have had more gold, but it's a nice little gold strat on top of everything else. Now, I know somebody's gonna be like, oh my God, there's no loot. You're right. These last 2 maps haven't been the most impressive. I have only gotten a couple of scarabs. I've gotten a couple of chaos. I've gotten a couple of stack decks. I've gotten a whole bunch of essences. I've gotten a bunch of maps, which my map runners are going to run. I've gotten a bunch of scouting reports, random currencies, and it's just something nice, quick, and easy that you can go in a map, out of a map, in a map, out of a map, and the cost of entry is very, very, very minimal, and you can make a really good bang for your buck. Now, I farmed majority of all of my currency to put all of my build together, literally doing this blight strategy on stream. I've tested some other stuff and bounced around with other things, but majority of my currency has come from this. But yeah, that's really about it. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment down below, reach out on the live stream, stop by the Discord, post in one of the public channels, come by the YouTube live, and just, let me know. Or if there's another really cool farming strategy that you want me to explore or try out, by all means, feel free to reach out or leave it down below or share your video of what you're farming and we'll take a look at it. And if it's cool, we'll give it a run. But for now, friends, I'm going to do as you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.